There are moments when silence is the sharpest blade you will ever wield, and in that silence you will discover a power so subtle, so profound, that it reshapes your entire existence. Imagine a battlefield where every word is a bullet, every reaction a strike, and you stand there not as a victim, but as the quiet architect of your own dignity. In the space between a provocation and a response, there lies a universe. Most people fill it with noise. They rush to defend their pride, to prove a point, but there is another path. The path of stillness, where ignoring becomes an art, a rebellion against chaos. It is a rebellion because it asks you not to dominate the moment, but to transcend it. We often believe that a reaction is a form of control, that if we lash out, we show strength. But what if by choosing silence, you were demonstrating a far greater mastery, the mastery of your inner world? Psychologists tell us that every time we resist the urge to defend, we anchor ourselves in a deeper self-knowledge. It is a paradox. By refusing to engage, we engage with ourselves. And in that engagement, we grow. Think back to ancient warriors who understood that some battles were won not by the sword, but by a patient gaze. In Taoist philosophy, the strongest force is often the one that never moves. It remains calm. And in that calm, it controls the storm. And so it is with us. When we choose silence, we do not shrink. We become the quiet eye of the hurricane, the stillness from which real power blooms. It is not weakness to ignore. It is a refusal to let the small, toxic voices steal your focus. And when you look back, you will see that every time you resisted, you reclaimed a piece of your dignity. Ignoring is not passive. It is a revolution of your own attention. And every time you do it, you remind yourself that you are no longer a prisoner of others' expectations. You are the sovereign of your peace, and that peace, once claimed, is the greatest gift you can ever give yourself. And so, a curious thing happens. As others grow restless, as they try to bait you, you remain a lighthouse, unmoved, steady, brilliant in your refusal to be dragged into their tempest. And somewhere in that stillness, you will realize you have become something rare. Someone who has mastered the art of moving forward without ever raising a hand. What happens when you realize that the world is brimming with distractions designed to steal your focus? You begin to see that every time you respond impulsively, you give a fragment of yourself away, like sand blown by the wind. But ignoring, that is an act of reclamation. It says, my energy is mine. It is a currency I do not spend cheaply. Philosophers like Marcus Aurelius knew this. The unexamined reaction is a chain. Only the silent observer breaks free. Consider how the ego craves the stage. It wants applause, even if it means stirring the pot. But when you deny it that satisfaction, something remarkable happens. You become a mystery to them. They don't know what you're thinking, and it's in that ambiguity that your power lies. Psychologists call this a boundary. It's the invisible fence you build to protect the sanctuary of your peace. And in this sanctuary, you are no longer at war with every spark. It is a strange thing that we see the world as a series of echoes. Someone insults, we respond. Someone shouts, we shout back. But when you stop echoing, you start listening not to their words, but to the still, small voice within. It is a voice that whispers, you don't need to prove your worth, you embody it. And once you hear that whisper, you know that ignoring is not just a tool, it is a bridge to your highest self. So imagine for a moment as you walk through your days that every ignored word is a step on a bridge. Every refusal to engage is a foundation stone in a future where you are no longer defined by others' noise. And when you reach that future, you will look back and realize that the most powerful victories were never won with a shout, but with a silence so full it became its own kind of triumph. There is a moment, just after you stop reacting, when the world shifts in a way you never expected. You begin to notice that ignoring is not an absence, it is a presence, a steady force that draws you back to yourself. In ancient myths, heroes often face their greatest trials not by fighting harder, but by stepping back and seeing the game from above. And so it is with us. When we stop giving our energy to every small spark, we gain the perspective to see which fires are worth tending. Psychologists remind us that attention is our most sacred resource. Where we focus, we thrive, and where we scatter, we wither. By choosing silence, we choose a deep focus on our own growth, our own potential. This is not just a retreat, it's a return to the truth that you are whole. And when you stand in that truth, the noise outside loses its sting. You no longer feel the need to defend because your worth is no longer up for debate. So like a river carving a canyon, ignoring reshapes the landscape of your life. You walk with a quiet confidence, knowing that your power is not in how you react. You see, ignoring is the most elegant revenge because it whispers that I am no longer bound by your storms. I am free, I am whole, and I will not be stolen from. So the next time you feel the urge to react, ask yourself, what am I choosing by not engaging? Am I choosing peace? Am I choosing growth? Because in that silence, a new version of you is born, one that stands tall, not because it needs applause, but because it knows its worth.